Thank you, Mr. Mandel. It's a pleasure to serve on your chairmanship. And may I also thank the member for bringing forward this debate, and indeed thank Mr. Mandel again for fitting me in at the last moment. Today's debate is timely given the approach of Easter. It's also we're now in the holy month of Ramadan, and Passover and Baisakhi will soon be upon us as well. I should declare an interest as somebody who's brought up as Church of England, although I have to say I was told off by a local vicar last year for not attending regularly. He has a very good memory because I think the last time I went was some years ago. But I do want to pay tribute to the role of churches in my community, and I think it's also timely to reflect on the wider values of faith communities in British history as well. Certainly in Reading and in Woodley, the other town which I represent, there's an enormous contribution from our local faith community, churches, indeed many other faiths as well. And I just wanted to thank them for their outstanding community work at this time, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. I wanted to give the example of one particular community organisation which has benefited enormously, and that's the Whitley Community Development Association. This is a group led by residents in a very disadvantaged part of our community, where they regularly receive donations of food and other support from local churches, indeed from other faith communities. They've had support from Gurdwara from as far away as Slough, which certainly from a Reading perspective is some way away, maybe perhaps not for people outside Berkshire. And I would like to thank all of those churches and other faith communities for getting involved. Other food bank support in our area includes the Trussell Trust, Ready Food, which is heavily involved with local churches. And I would like to thank them as many families and pensioners are suffering enormously in the cost of living crisis, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. Other notable community organisations which have a religious link include Communicare, which carries out very useful advice work to many residents, and I have to say it's been a privilege to visit its office on a number of occasions, and there are literally queues of people waiting outside in the morning to see this charity and to be helped. And I would once again like to thank local church members for their support for that, and indeed other faith communities and people with no faith for their work in community organisations. If I may, Mr. Mandel, I would also like to pay tribute, and I think this is a practical demonstration of people's faith, which is truly humbling. In our town, as in many parts of the country, there's a terrific problem with homelessness, and I have been privileged to visit New Beginnings, which is a wonderful community organisation which takes in people who are street homeless and offers them a warm meal and a place to stay. They've converted a former pub and turned it into a place of refuge for people who are in deep trouble, and they're offering very practical help, and that was set up by a number of practicing Christians, and there's a very strong church element to that. I may also, if I may, mention Sadaka, which is a similar organisation but has Muslim heritage, and equally a number of practicing Muslims wanted to show their support to the wider community, and in a truly amazing demonstration of that support, they offer food regularly on a Saturday morning. They have no property of their own, and they're looking for one. So if anybody has a spare property in Reading they could give them, we'd be delighted to accept that. And I appreciate time is limited, but if I may just mention two other forms of help, which I think are very well worth mentioning as a form of practical demonstration of people's faith, both in my area but across the country, and those are wider help for the vulnerable, and I would like to mention street pastors in particular, but also the long-standing work of church and faith communities in supporting international development. I particularly wanted to thank CAFOD. I'm not a Catholic myself, but I'm hugely supportive of their work. They've reached out to me since I became an MP in 2017. But there are many other groups, including the other charities that make up DEC nationally, which include Oxfam, Muslim Relief, and a number of others who do incredible work. And that is motivated by people's faith and belief in supporting other human beings at a time of great need. And I think that those charities deserve huge support and appreciation for the incredibly valuable work that they do. I would also say, though, that there are many other groups who I've not been able to mention, and I do appreciate the opportunity today to just say some words of thanks and encouragement to faith communities, particularly Christians, obviously because of the theme of the debate, who are playing such an important role across so many fields. If I may just finish by saying that I would also like to thank Support You, which is a charity which supports LGBT people in our area, and I've had the privilege of working with them as well, and I think they're an absolutely fantastic organisation. And if I may just finish, thank you, Mr. Mundell, for allowing me to take part in today's debate, and I would also like to again thank the member for Doncaster for securing today's debate. It's been a wonderful opportunity to thank many, many hardworking and motivated people whose faith is at the heart of what they do.
I call Peter Grant.